Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Deeptox podcast. If you are new to this channel, my name is Alfredo Briones. It is a privilege to have you here. If you feel led to subscribing, that would be incredible. And if you don't, that's fine as well. It's just an honor to have you here. Today, we have a very special guest. I am very excited. She is a real estate agent in the North Georgia area, representing Keller Williams. And aside from her profession and her hard, dedicated work, she's also a good friend of Britzy and I. Yeah, everybody welcome Cinthya Bourdua.
Yes.
How are you doing? Are you good? You nervous?
Nervous, of course, but hey, first time doing this, and I'm glad it's with you guys.
How do you feel?
If you could hear my heart, it's just probably beating really hard.
You're doing good. You're doing good. So, yeah, Cinthya, so how are you doing? How are things going? How's real estate going?
Well, if I say real estate is crazy, you guys experienced it.
Yeah.
Like it's an understatement, you know? Like right now, how the market is, it's just moving really fast for everyone. And right now with the 1.1 month supply of inventory,
right?
Like you have to be able to move, make the best offer, and do what you need to do to get that home if that's really what you want. But also the interest rate being so low, it's just everybody wants to get that house because right now you have more buying power than if you wait with that interest rate.
So with COVID in the way and then the market being so hot, how did that even happen? Because a lot of people lost jobs. And
I think it's because a lot of the I guess the people that are buying and that price range or whatnot, they weren't the ones that lost their jobs. It's anyone that's 35 over, like it's the higher amount of, or the percentage they've lost their jobs. And so those that were buying, they have the jobs and they're able to do it, or they've able to do it with other people, like buying is not specifically to them. And so interest rate being low, more buying power, there's programs that can help you, like even with down payment or whatnot.
Gotcha.
You just gotta like work on that. And so I think the whole thing with COVID made it realize that we don't want to stay locked up in an apartment. We want to be able to have our space. We want to be able to have like all that. So, and when the economy like takes a little turn, you always realize that the rentals are like skyrocketing. That's what they do. And you end up paying the same. So it's just like, might as well go buy and do something that's
for sure. Yeah. And for those that don't know, Cinthya actually helped us in the process of home buying, and that was crazy, as you know. Yeah. But I guess my question to you is, when is it right time to buy a home? Is it now? I mean, what do you think?
Honestly, like the best answer, the time to buy, the best time to buy is when you are ready. Like it's not waiting for like when everything seems perfect, because that's never going to happen. Like if you are renting and you're paying $1,200, $1,300, like you can afford a house. You just need to be disciplined, save up a few months or whatnot, and start like making those little steps to get to there. Like it's not just the interest rate, because you're still paying somebody else's mortgage if you're not doing it yourself, you know? So for me, the best time to buy is when you're ready, like when you decide you want to do it. And if somebody wants to call and say, find out, because you still got to live somewhere. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm just going to hold off because I have, like, you got to go somewhere, you know? And there is like house hacking that some people don't know, that, for example, if you say, like, I can't afford to pay the whole entire mortgage myself. Well, if you have the credit to do it, and then you can get a couple friends or some people to rent with you, like that's how you start building some of the wealth that a lot of people don't know, you know? And so for me, the reason I got into real estate is because I could see a disproportionate amount of Hispanic people, especially, that like they don't realize that like the importance of, you know, creating generational wealth. And it starts by buying a home, and then you can leave that to children and whatnot.
Yeah,
and
also, it's a generational thing.
Exactly. And the other thing is like, you gotta understand that if you do great, like, or you're prudent with your credit and you start building that stuff, it gives you so much power here in the US. It's not like from our countries, like where you can see that doesn't happen. Like you have to be able to work a lot harder to do something. And here, no, it's provided to you, but you have to be able to know how to work on your credit and make the right decisions to get there.
Right. And being Hispanic, we've gotten used to, like, I don't come from a family that owns things, and
a lot of us don't.
Yeah. We're just been used to just renting, and that's just been, I mean, going home to home. I'm thinking what to say to those people that they're like, I can't, or I don't have the funds for that deposit, or I don't know how to build the credit. How would you help those people, or what would you say?
So I will say, like, and I'll put myself in as an example. I was 25 years old when I bought my first home, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to afford it or anything, but just inquire, because I'm like, I don't want to be like my parents that don't have like a stable home that's always been, and they do have something, but they still got to pay like rental or something. So I didn't want that. And so like what I did to do that, I was like, I inquired, I was like, how much do I need? What is the minimum, and what do I need to do to get there? It took me about 6 months to kind of like collect and do everything. But the thing is, a lot of people don't know there's a lot of programs out there. If you can't buy or have like a large deposit, you can go and buy outside the city and get USDA as long as you qualify and you got the credit. Again, the credit's very important. But what it does is that you don't have to have that much money. Some people say, oh, 12,000, 10,000, that's a lot to save. No, if you go outside, you use the USDA program. Again, it's rural area. That's a program that helps you so they can populate those rural areas. But it is zero down. And then the other thing is that we can work it on the actual purchase price for the seller to pay a lot of the closing costs. So you might be able to get in for $1,000. You just got to make sure that you have the credit and you have also the work history. And what it helps you is just stay in the same job and like be making steps to go like higher and make sure that you're not like, think of it, if you're doing that investment, that financial decision that you're going to buy a home, think of it as like whenever you go buy something, say, do I need it or do I want it? And start saving that, because we spend so much money on things that really don't need. Yeah, we don't need. It doesn't matter. It's not going to help us at the end, because a lot of people say, well, what if I can't afford it? It's like, you can always rent it. Like, there is options out there that you're like, well, you'll make the sacrifice to rent part of your home to continue to afford it, because some people say, well, like if I lose my job or do, it's like there's other people that want to live there. You can make it work if you charge $300, $400 like per room or whatever it is. Like it works. It's just some of us lock ourselves in this little like box and don't think outside, and that's how a lot of people do it, like that's how you start. And then once you buy your first home and like you start building equity, like you can get the equity and buy something else and start flipping, doing like, that's how a lot of people like end up making their money. And if you realize, millionaires and even billionaires, that's how they started, like with real estate. Like that's how they're making their money, or they have their money involved in that. So
and I mean, there is also a conversation about like, well, for me, building credit, my frustration's always been, how can I build credit if I don't have credit? Nobody accepts me. I go and try to get, the minimal card, credit card, and I can't get approved because I don't have credit. Right. So my question to you is, not having credit,
how do you start that?
Yeah.
So like, and that's the thing. Like, I have people that can connect you to make those financial decisions, and what are the right decisions for you to get there. And one thing that I know that the lenders recommend is for you to go to your bank institution and say, hey, I want to get a card that it's kind of like a credit card, but you're paying and it's like the minimum. And then they start building from there, and then you start building and building more. So I've had clients that they're like, oh, I have great credit, I don't have anything on my credit. And it turns out they don't have any credit at all. So it's not just having nothing on your credit and you think it's perfect. It's being able to work on it and see that the financial institutions are looking that you're building towards that to make it look good to them. That you're like, if you got something on credit, that you pay it off like the next month or whatever. Like that's what's going to help you.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, even in this whole beginning process, all these terms, nobody, like my parents didn't teach me, like, what is equity? Me and Britzy were like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. So like equity is like, let's say your home, and we're not like gonna how much you pay. Let's say it's
Right.
100,000. Like, and then once you start paying and the market keeps going up, now you still owe the bank, or that's like the loan that it was 100,000. But if the house starts appreciating in value, let's say it's 120, you have 20,000 in equity. That's like the money that you've built up like towards the home. If you wanted to like get a second mortgage from your home or whatever,
Yeah.
like you can get that money as credit from the bank because they know that it's worth more than what you originally pay.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of when you buy a home, you don't lose. You know,
Yeah.
it's like even
And I will say, like, it's not that you lose because we don't have a crystal ball that we can
Right.
say yes, it's gonna go up, it's always gonna go up. It's not true. Like again, I'll say, I'll put myself in as an example. When I bought my home, like the market went down. I bought it on the top, it went down. Like I was upside down, and we're like, what are we gonna do? Like I don't want to short sell it. I don't want to have that on my credit. I don't want to have that. So eventually, what I did is I started renting it. And then the market, like always, it's usually like 7 to 10 years when it's like goes up and down or whatnot. It did. And we end up selling it for a lot more than what I end up paying. And it was great, but you have to wait. You can't just say, oh, bought it this year and I'm going to sell it next year and I'm going to make 20, 30,000. No,
Yeah.
like you want to hold off to at least 5 years for you to make something. But yes, you don't lose because in a way, like you're going to rent somewhere or you're going to do something. You're not going to get that money back. You know, it's not like that you're going to go to your landlord and say, hey, like I paid 3 years. You owe me this much. It's like, no, too bad. Go on, move somewhere else. And at least with the house, you have something there that you will continue and you can pay and you can look at the market and see, like, and ask someone, in this case, your real estate agent, and say, hey, like, where's my house at? What's the value? Like, does it make sense to move or should I rent it? What should I do?
Yeah, I love what you said in the beginning. You said the right time to buy a home is when you're ready. And sometimes real estate agents will pressure, or like just the family pressures you. You know, why are you renting? You need to go buy. But then there's people that still don't know where they even want to be designated for their future, if they want to move somewhere else. And there's people that are still stuck renting year after year after year. But really, it's true. It's when you're ready and you know your own wants and needs. And for a long time, I myself felt, you know, renting is almost like you're wasting your money, which you are in a way. But also I'm thankful because I still have a roof under, you know.
Right.
So it's not just being wasted, but, you know, it's, I guess, both sides. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is more like you feel like you're not building anything.
Yeah.
You don't have anything. Like, yes, you have a roof and it's great to have that. Again, like we're truly blessed because there's a lot of people right now that are not in that situation.
Yeah.
But what it is like you don't feel like you belong somewhere. There's nothing that you're like putting roots or saying like I'm building this to leave it eventually like
There's
for
no
my
foundation.
kids. Yes, exactly. And the thing is like with us Hispanic, and now I speak for my side, my family, what it is like I wish my dad would have done that because a lot of Hispanics go and say, well, I'm going to move to my country. I'm just going to get some money, save up some money and send it over there so I can build. And they never end up leaving. And then here they're living one place to another, paying somebody else's, you know, mortgage. And so if you do that where you're renting a lease, make it where it's your space, you know, and so people say, well, I don't have papers, like I can't like buy or whatnot. Like there's programs out there that can help you. Like the government doesn't care if you have papers or not. Like when it comes to buying, what they care is that the financial institutions, that they get their money. So if you're buying it with a tax ID, like you can still do it. Yes, the interest rate is higher. Yes, your down payment is higher, but you still are building something, that you're making something, you know.
It might not be worth to someone, but there is someone out there that's all they have as an option.
Yeah. And again, like I know I'm highlighting this a lot, that like go rent or like do the house hacking that I said.
Right.
But it's just there's options. We do that anyways. Like a lot of Hispanics you see a bunch of cars parked outside is because there's several families there and they're making it work, you know, because yes, they are getting paid the minimum wage, but they get where they need to do because housing is really expensive. But if you do that and you're the one that's building that, I've seen, I've had some clients that are like, I didn't know I could do this, like it was just mind-boggling that like I could actually do. Like I went to speak to a church and I had a lot of families and I've been able to help them like do that, but they're like, we didn't realize it was possible.
Yeah.
So that's awesome to see and be able to help.
Don't get stuck in the renting mentality.
Yeah.
Like it's okay if you're there for a season, but work on getting out of that.
Right. Yeah.
And so for those that might still be wondering, and I think, the main purpose why you're here is, it's a privilege to have you here first and foremost. And I think it's important to have conversations about real estate and for people like me that had no knowledge and to buying and people out there that don't have credit. I think you can bring a lot of knowledge to the table and really encourage and inspire other families that are wanting to buy but have that fear.
Yeah.
And
they can always reach out. Like for me as a buyer's agent, helping somebody buy, we don't get paid until you get your keys. And sometimes I've had where I didn't really get paid, but for me, just knowing that I helped someone that eventually like they will pass it on or give out my information to somebody else that I can help. It's enough, because I know that I've helped a family, become like homeowner and get that. So it is fulfilling, but, I don't get paid. Call, say, hey, what is this? What is that? Like, I don't mind it at all. And that's one thing that I have from other agents. Like, I'll answer my phone, how that is I'm available to you. And I am bilingual. So that also helps for a lot of families. And that's why I wanted to know. I want them to know, that you reach out, because if you don't speak up, you're not going to get anything. If you don't say what's in your mind, how to get somewhere, you're not going to get there. With me moving here to the States when I was 17 years old, I knew that I needed to learn how to speak the language, because if not, there's no way I was going to be able to succeed in this country, Right. So I was like, okay, I need to speak up. I need to do this. I had my dictionary. I was translating, reading how you should pronounce certain things, and it helped. But a lot of people stay quiet, and it's nobody needs to know if you can't afford it. You're talking to me and that's it. It stays in between us.
Yeah, it's confidential.
So, yeah, exactly. So if you can't make it or something happens that it's not possible for you, that's fine. At least you tried. Right. But if you don't try, you're not going to get there.
It's about taking that first step. And how do you know when an agent is being genuine or has good intentions of helping you buy this home?
You don't really, because I've seen that some hide certain things or do it behind their back. For me, it's talking to them, telling them everything, and I feel like you'll be able to read the person if they're not being genuine or what they're telling
discernment.
You. Yeah. And it's for me, when we first did our initial buyer consult, I was honest, I said, I know I scared you guys a little bit, but I told you, it was if you're gonna, if you, the lender approves you for $200,000, $300,000 home, and the payment is way too high, you don't want to go buy something that high. You want to buy something that you can afford, that you can make the monthly payments and whatnot, that is going to be similar to what you're paying for rent, that because your habits are not going to change. Mm-hmm. You say, a month maybe you'll be able to do it, but after that you'll go back if you were going out or doing or whatnot. I know that wasn't the case for you guys.
Right.
But a lot of people don't get that, because some agents say, oh no, let's get the highest what you can afford because you need this. No, it's make it, if it's the first time you're buying a house, make it your first home, the initial to eventually move up, go and buy something else, because just take that first step to get that home. Eventually it could be your investment home and you buy something else, upgrade, It is important just to get there first. Yeah.
How did you get into real estate?
So I was a quality control supervisor at Philadelphia Farms for a long time. And eventually when I had my first child, my husband said, I think we should stay home, because, childcare is expensive, like just
Oh, yeah.
a bunch of stuff. So we decided to, for me to stay home. And then this lady that helped us, she said, you should get into real estate. You should do this. And I was thinking, I'm like, you know what, that's not a bad idea, because I feel like I can have like a flexible schedule, still be with the kids and do all this. And then I thought about like how many people I could help, especially when it comes to like my family and friends that I could educate and whatnot. Because I remember this lady was like, somehow she did her work. And I'm like, if I do that, I want to make sure I do it like her. And so I was like, let me get into real estate. And I didn't realize how hard it was. Like it was difficult. Like the first, I want to say at least 6 months, I didn't have any clients, but I was helping anyone and anything like that I could do for rentals, and I can still help with that. But yeah, it was initially because I wanted to help people. Like, it was like, wait a second, like it will help me, but it will help a lot more somebody else that understands like the process,
Right.
because for me, it wasn't like that when I initially bought.
Yeah. Did you always want to do real estate?
No. I just like end up, no, it wasn't. In one thing I will say, I do regret not being able to be in this industry a lot earlier, because I could have been able to like help a lot more people and do it right and understand and how the process and just explain like what their options are. So yeah.
You've been doing this for how long now?
It's gonna be 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Definitely more. I can say you're more experienced than 5 years.
Yeah.
You do a great job.
And it's not, and a lot of people will throw that. It's like, oh, I've been doing this for 30 years. Well, how many homes do you sell a year? How many do you have for this? So it's just how much do you do? How often do you do it? And how much of the process do you do? I'm going to be hiring somebody like an assistant for me to help me like with a bunch of stuff that I have, but I understand everything. I'm the one that does the contract. I'm the one that sends everything. So it's not passed on to anyone else. But when you do have someone, at least there's more of a team
Right.
that is helping you. But I understand all that. Like I know what you're filling out. I know like I've been there, so I feel like I can walk you through the process easier. Yeah.
What determines a successful realtor?
What makes someone like succeed in this?
Succeed in that industry.
Okay. So for me, I feel like it really is caring, being in touch with the person, and like if something happens, say like it's okay. I have one client right now that unfortunately we had to cancel the purchase. It didn't work. We were trying to make the pieces fit, and it wasn't the right time. So and I told them, it's like, look, I will give you all these options of what you can do. Like we can try to rent it beforehand so you can purchase this home or whatnot. But I said, but ultimately it is your decision. I'm going to give you the options, but we don't want to push it. And like, if it's not the right fit, and so for me is caring for the person. First of all, is a lot of them are in it for the money, like how much I'm going to get. Like for me, that's not it, because at the end of the day, I want you to be happy. Like when you move to your house and you do all that. So I feel like that will set you apart from other agents. And eventually those that are not genuine of what they're doing eventually will end up like moving out of the industry.
I would say that there is also people that might be wanting to pursue be an agent. Mm-hmm. How can you encourage those, or how easy or how hard is it to get in? What are the steps?
So if somebody is thinking of getting into real estate, they can reach out and I can explain more the process. But the basic that I will say is like you need to have at least 3 months saved, at least. The more, the better. Like save for like your day-to-day expenses and whatnot. You also have to have at least $2,000 when it comes to your license, the school, all of that. I did it in person, so it costs a little more. There is some programs that I can refer that's like less. I prefer the face-to-face, but there is a lot to it. Like you don't start making money right away unless, again, you've already been kind of in the industry. Somebody's willing to let you sell their house or help them buy, because if you're new right away, people's like, oh yeah, no, like we're not going to give them a chance or whatnot. It is. And for me, like I said, it took about 6 months before I had my first sale,
Wow.
I helped with a bunch of rentals, but that's not the same. It's a completely different contract. It's a different process. And, but still, like I was making little money here and there, but I was always like shadowing somebody else to like kind of help me, guide me. And the person that got me into real estate, she's been in the industry for over 30 years. So like any questions I had, I could help and tell the people that I was going to help. Look, I have this person that backs me up, you know. But yeah, like reach out. Like you won't know if you can make it or whatnot until you start trying. But the other thing is that if you are serious about getting into real estate, do it. You know, like just know that you're not going to be able to, like you could make money to begin, like, or right away, but it's not a for sure thing. So you need to have something saved up so you can move
be
on.
Prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of real estate agents there in the industry. There's a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
And it's growing now and more. How do you stand out from everybody?
Well, like,
or how can you stand out?
Right. And so for me, it's like when I've serviced or worked with someone, they do the referral and they tell them, and I make the initial contact, and I say, sometimes we're not going to be a match. You know, if there's something that you don't like about me or vice versa, like I can do a referral for somebody else that might work, you know, but I feel like the way you stand out is, again, being genuine, like caring about your client and at the end of the day, like what they get, not what you get as an agent. For me also, it's just like being able to like make those touches, you know, like talk to people and say, hey, how you doing? Like, what is it that you need? Where are you at? Like, you know, that I can help or guide you. Like I've helped a lot of people that not necessarily want to buy. I've said, hey, somebody's looking to, let's say, build a deck. And I know somebody that builds it and has a great price and like they do that. I'll refer them that and do stuff like that. And eventually they'll remember that I've always kept them in mind and they'll come back and reach out. But it is that, like, just being genuine. Yeah. Yeah.
How was your first clients? What did you learn from that experience?
I learned that there is a lot more like to real estate than like it's not cookie cutter. Like each individual transaction, each individual thing is different. Like, you know, you always get something else that comes up. There's certain things that repeat in the transaction, but each home is different. Each client is different. So for me, what it was is that I learned that I can push kind of like the boundaries when it comes to like helping them buy, because I got them the maximum amount of credit and I didn't realize I was pushing that number, you know, like there were some things that the other agents were surprised that I was able to do, but like you got to kind of like play with it, you know, like with the first one, it was my brother and my sister-in-law. It also helped me understand that I had to be able to separate that yes, we might be family, yes, we might be friends or whatever, that it's still a transaction on my side, but for your side, it would be like the biggest purchase you have. So I have to be professional and be able to guide you and tell you, like, this is why you shouldn't buy this home. Like, this is what I see. And if you do choose to buy this home, then it's on you, you know, kind of thing. Like that, not saying like I'm not taking responsibility or anything, but I'm letting you know, like, let's say I see the roof that is coming down, but this is a house you really want and the seller is not going to contribute in that. I'll say, look, this is what I see about the home. This is going to be an issue to you. Do you want to continue? You know, because ultimately it will be your decision if you want to buy. So yeah, I saw that then, that I was like, oh, wait, it is my brother. It is my sister-in-law, but I can't make the decision for them.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it comes down to them.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't stress this enough with the clients. I'll have the initial buyer consultation and say, like, this is what you want on the house, and like we'll walk like your must-haves or whatnot. But once they start looking at the house, oh, what about this one? What about that one? I'm like, well, do you remember that you said you wanted this and that? And they're like, oh, yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. And it's not that I'm not trying to sell the house or help you get there. It's just that I'm going to remind you of those things that you said that were important. Yeah.
I remember in the beginning, you told us to take out the emotional side. Yeah. Because that can get in the way. Right. And you see one home, you start imagining, oh, I'm going to put this here. I'm going to do this here. And then, that's what happened with us. Yeah. As you remember. Yeah. And don't let your emotions get in the way right away.
And they will. Like, it's part of the process. You're going to see yourself, like, living there, or, like, imagining your family or your kids, or, like, your pets or anything, like, running around. But that's what your realtor is there for. Like, in this case, me, I will tell you, like, hey, like, do you remember you said you wanted a 2-car garage? You don't have a car garage here. Or you said that this was important. It's not here. Like, just know that, like, if you have a realtor just trying to push you to get to buy it or do it without you thinking of everything, that's not the way to do it. That's not to say if you've seen a lot of houses and the industry is moving fast, then you still have time, like, to make an offer. And if you change your mind, you can. But you got to understand the difference. One is to try to get the home that, yes, it does work for you. Or if you're just being pushed to buy a home. That's not what you should do. And that's not how the process should be.
What are 3 things that you've learned in the real estate industry?
Like what? Just for
experiences that taught you anything?
I was like, one thing it is big that I would say, like, when we buy a house, we just think we just live there and, like, that's about it. It comes with a lot more. There's a lot more things that you got to take care of. There's a lot of things that you have to be able to, like, maintain, like, to keep the home pristine, to be able to, like, when you decide to sell, if you do, like, that it looks good.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize that if you don't take care of it, you're not going to get the amount of money that your neighbor got that has been taking care of it.
Right.
That's one thing, because I see it with sellers that they have a lot of their expectations are not where they should be, especially, again, their neighbor did take care of the home. The other thing is that a lot of people, I've noticed that they have this idea that they have to see this amount of homes in order for them to make the decision. If you're buying in the same area, if you're somewhere, like, in the same area, the houses don't change that much. The only thing that you're doing is postponing the buying, and you might not be ready. Like, some people say, yes, I am ready, but they're always going to make an excuse to buy or do something. Then technically you're not, if you keep on putting something else in. So that's, like, the second thing. And the third thing is, like, if you, in my experience, when I've worked with people, like, they generally realize that I have, like, the best intentions to help them, and people will see it, and, like, they'll refer you or they'll come up with you and be honest, like, about certain things that maybe they wouldn't have shared to you, and, like, you can help them get there. And I feel like if you really open up and you're truthful with your clients, like, they'll have like an ally, like, you're a team that you're working together. And I've noticed that the more I opened up and tell them about my struggles, they open up, and I'm able to help them even better with that. So yeah,
for sure. And there might be people that say, well, I don't want to work with an agent because they're just there because they're trying to make money.
Right.
What would you say to those people?
So if it's the buyer, if it's on the buyer side, again, I don't get paid until you close on the home.
Right.
And the way I get paid is by the seller. And you say, well, it's technically from the money that I'm paying him. So it might be, well, yes and no. Like, the only way that seller can pay me from, like, their equity is that they have equity in the home. Like, the lender's not going to lend you the money if the money's not worth it. It has to be able to appraise. So yes, you're kind of like financing him getting paid, but you're not going to go get the seller, if, let's say, you buy for sale by owner, for him to fill out the contract.
Yeah.
How do you know what he's filling out? Like, how do you know that if you can't get out of the house, if there's no, you're not allowed to do an inspection, you're not allowed to do certain things, then you might end up losing more money and not even get the home, you know? The contract that I use is a GAR form. It's Georgia Association of Realtors. And I have access to it in, like, you don't have to pay me to use that form. But if you ask an attorney for them to fill out that form, you got to pay them by the hour. And you're not, like, it's not like if it doesn't close, you're refund their money or whatever. No, like, you got to pay them. You owe them that money. Yeah. So, I mean, for that seller side, it's like, we help you sell and get you the best money with the least amount of, like, hassles, from showings to like telling you, like, to stage it, remove certain things, like how to keep it clean, like who's coming in the house, verifying that they have funds. Like, you don't want it to where you're showing your house to sell, but there's potential buyers, but they're not really buyers because they haven't even been qualified or gone through that process. So that also like saves you time, money. And at the end of the day, if like they come in and negotiate, they want closing costs, all of that, like we can work it where it's like they end up paying the less amount of money, no worries.
So how important do you think is having an agent?
It is important if you want to be represented and ask the right questions. If you know like all this, the terms of like real estate and what you need to do, like due diligence, financial contingency, appraisal contingency, how long does it take? All these terms that like a lot of people that don't deal, like, they won't know. So, I mean, don't ever go into something that doesn't work for you. Like, it has to be right for you, and ask the questions and whatnot. Like, but I will say, like, interview agents, like not just one, do maybe a couple. Get to know them and see what works best. But yeah, like I know like my opinion is biased. I am an agent and I will say that, but I don't think I could have ever thought myself like before even buying something without being represented, because I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm signing. And then it's a big financial
And then there's things that, for example, I don't get to see that you see. You know what I'm saying? And there's behind the scenes, so many things that, would drive, I can imagine.
Yeah. And so, like, let's say, like, for the different types of financing, like, if we know, like, the type of loan that is FHA, Federal Housing Association, like, that's, it's more restrictive of what you can buy and cannot buy, or what the condition is of the home, that's what I mean. So if the siding has holes, if, like, the oven's not working, if, like, the crawl space doesn't have, like, the moisture barrier, just different things, like, we know automatically, they're going to tell you, like, no, you can't. And so what is the point if we know the seller's not going to fix that? You're not going to pay that ahead of time. Why put the money into that house, like with the inspections and all that, if you know you're not going to get it? Like, I can tell you this, save you all this money and the time that you say, hey, it's not going to work because this and this and that. If you think you can make it work, then that's a different story. But you'll have that information to make the correct decision. Yeah,
I'm glad we were able to have you in our process, because that was how crazy it was, and probably crazier than your typical.
No, really? No, and I know it's funny because a lot of my clients say, like, oh, mine was the crazy. I'm like, no, you have not seen some of the crazy ones I had. I had one, and of course it was a short sale, which it was crazy. The day the appraiser was going to go back and inspect things that weren't right the first time, the water heater breaks and all the water spills everywhere. So, like, they couldn't afford to pay more. The seller wasn't going to pay because it was like the bank. And so, like, I am there with my clients on my knees, like, getting stuff like cleaned up, dried up. We had fans. We had, like, that was one of the crazier ones that we were trying to, like, make it work. And and they did go in too with like $20,000 in equity. The home was worth more than what they paid. So we knew that it was a great deal. We just needed to get those things fixed. But yeah, no, there's some that it's a lot.
Do you think recession is close?
Honestly, we had a mastermind, like, meeting in my office to kind of discuss, like, where the market is and whatnot. And we do see, like, the interest rate being low, that is helping everyone. But we also see that the actual inventory is low. It's 52% less than what it was last year.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, a balanced market is like 6 months of inventory. So let's say however many, let's say 1,000 homes on the inventory, there should be like 1,000 like in 6 months and still like that. Right now it's only a month and a half, and they're flipping and they're selling and they're going fast. So even with the mortgage forbiddance and all that like people were able to save their money, they still gotta owe that like money. They gotta pay it back, somehow make arrangements to pay it back. And so even if there is some people that say, well, I can't afford to continue paying my home, I'm going to let it go. Because of the shortage of inventory, I feel like that's going to eat it up. And that's going to make it balance. Like we saw, like how many homes that we were trying to get in like multiple offers and how many people are buying. Like it's unheard of that a house that just goes on the market the very next day or that same day has 20 offers, 27 offers. That's it's ridiculous. Like for buyers, it's great for sellers, like trying to sell, and if you're ready to move on, like do that, like to a bigger home or whatnot. But it's just, we can't predict the future, but honestly, I feel because of the shortage of inventory, it's going to level it out, not where it's going to dip or anything.
Not anytime soon.
I don't see it. But again, there's crazy things. Yeah, it's very unpredictable.
Yeah, and the interest rate is the lowest it's ever been, right?
Yes, it is.
Like we've never seen.
Yeah, and like I've heard that people, like I don't know how many years ago or whatnot, they were saying 12 like interest rate was 12%. And it was like, oh, that's great. Whatnot? We're like, right now we hear 12, and it's like, what?
What in the world?
Yeah. So right now it's being at 2.6, 2.7. It just depends, like what your credit is too. But yeah, it's really, really low. And a lot of things that, or what people don't understand is like your buying power is higher when the interest rate is low. So let's say if you have a house that's $200,000, if you go, let's say the interest rate goes up 1%, your buying power goes down 10%. So instead of being able to pay or buy a house for $200,000, now you can only afford if you wait that interest rate going 180, and that the house is the same, the mortgage is lower, but yet your monthly payment is going to be the same. Right. So it's like that's it, depending like where you're at. Like it's probably better for you to go and buy right now, and that it's a bit higher because you can afford more home because of the interest rate being lower.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I think that's where we were at for a while. Like we were scared to buy now because yes, the interest rate was low, but at the same time they're just so expensive at the moment. And at the same time, quarantine made us or helped us realize that we don't want to be in an apartment. We want to have something to ourselves. Yeah. And that was always, I didn't know, stuck in that. I don't know if I should wait until they go down.
Yeah.
Or should I just go ahead and jump in? And obviously I jumped in, but sometimes we'll sit too long on the waiting where we're just, when that price comes down, and then you've already wasted 5-10 years.
Yeah. And again, like I said, it's like the right time to buy is when you're ready to buy.
When you're ready.
Yes, you want to take advantage of great interest rate, but if like you financially can't do it, or like you're stuck in a, like with the place that it has like the monthly rent, like you're already like there in a lease or whatnot, then you don't, you might not be able to do it. But if you are like financially like able to do it, might as well jump on it and like go and do it, because if the interest rate changes or whatnot, like your buying power, if it changes higher, like your buying power goes low, and so if you can buy now, it's better than for you to buy in a couple of months or half a year or a year later, because you don't know what's going to happen then, but you do know what's happening now. And then like your house payment or like whatever it is, like it's probably going to end up being the same, even if you hold off for that other home to drop, but the interest rate go higher. So unless it drops like half of that, it's not going to drop like where it's like 10%, 20%, like that, for sure, it's so go for the for sure thing, like go that it's something that's given to you.
In your profession, what you do, what is one weakness that you're working on?
For me?
Yeah.
Like the weakness, I would say that I'm always like answering my phone at times.
I'm glad you, yes.
It is. It's terrible because it's late at night and I'm doing that. And I should be able to separate that, like family and business. Yes, have boundaries. I do know, because like the whole reason why I got into this is like for my family to have like that time. And I need to be able to do it where some agents say, hey, after this time, if it's not urgent, if it's not like no one's dying, I'm not going to answer my phone until like the next morning. And no, like I've answered my phone.
Yeah, we've had conversations at like 11.
Yes.
11
and so I do need to work on that. And I am working on like the one thing, and I am subscribed to that. And like, anytime you want to change a habit, it takes 66 days for you to do that. Yeah, it's not 30 days.
It's not 30.
No, it's 66. And like once it feels like it's natural for you to do that, like you got to do that. So it's definitely my time, like answering like for the business.
You're always, I feel like you work every single day, 24/7, 28, 25, 8, if I could say.
Yeah.
And so I've always wondered, like, how do you separate time? How do you manage time with real estate and your family?
So I do like and I won't say this is bad. It's not at all. Like I love what I do, and I think that's what it also doesn't feel like work. But I do need to be able to like separate that and give the time to my boys and whatnot. And sometimes they're riding with me, you know, and we'll talk, we'll do things. But as soon as I get a call, this is my thing. Like they know they need to like be quiet because I'm like in a business call like like this, and they do stay quiet. But it's I think I just need to work on that, and like I said, like getting an assistant or getting there, like it will help me get there. That way, I'm not the one that's doing like the contracts. I'll know how the contracts work because I've done it all this time, but somebody else can take over that, and I can just do the face to face, day to day.
Yeah, that would help a lot.
Yeah.
I do think you deserve that, and your kids deserve that.
Yeah,
and your family, your husband, everybody, because being present is very important.
Yeah. Well, we have it with Keller Williams. It's like it's you know, it's not business first. It's family, your religion, you know, like your faith, and then business. So like that's where I'm striving to do is like it's making like it's life by design. Like we build it how we want it, and that's what real estate can do for me. So working towards that. Yeah.
That's good. And I asked you earlier, you know, when it's time to buy a home. My other question to you, and I don't know where we might be here for, I don't know. We just got this home, so we don't have, we're really enjoying it. So we're not nowhere near thinking of, you know, selling it at any time. But, you know, if that ever was to be the case, my question to you is, what's the process of selling a home? Because you help in that too as well.
Yeah. So I would sit down. I will go into like break down the sheet of like what is it, how much you will be bringing, what all your fees are, calculate like how much like your mortgage. I will also recommend you getting a letter from your mortgage and find out like what's the payoff amount, because they have other fees that they will let you know at the time, not to pay it off early unless you have that type of loan. But we will find out and find out if it makes sense. If you're looking to upgrade, how much money you will have left to use that to move on, or if it makes sense for you to stay another year to pay off some of this or do some other things. I tell people it's like I will gladly go over this stuff to see if it makes sense for you, because some people are thinking, oh, I can do this and this and that, and then when they start seeing the numbers, then it doesn't make sense, because there's no point once you put it on the market and then find out that you're not getting anything. You know, like you want to know those things ahead of time to find out, or at least give you an estimate of what it would be. The other thing is like I will walk to the home and say, hey, you need to depersonalize. Don't have this, don't have that. Like make sure that you leave room, make sure the closets are clean, things like that. Because the other people that are going to come and look at your house, they want to see it organized. Some people can't see past certain things, so you want to be able to like show it the best way possible.
Right.
I will walk through things and say like the siding needs to be clean or those holes patched, just different things, you know. We will
safety concerns.
Yes, things like that, because a lot of people again don't realize it's not just putting it on the market. You want to put it in the best way possible, because like if there's another home sold right around the corner, your neighbors, that's your competition. You want to make sure that yours is the one that gets the most money, it's sold the fastest, or whatever your time limit is.
Yeah. How difficult is it? I mean, because I feel like buying a home is stressful. And I mean, would you say it's about as stressful as selling it?
It's different. It's stressful right now, and I know like you felt that because of how the market is, that there's not enough inventory. But like when it comes to like the selling, it just depends how you have your home and how available are you like to let people walk into your house. Like we'll set up a box for somebody to come and visit, and only those licensed will be able to open that. But if your home, everybody wants to see it, you might not be able to stay in your house while you're being shown until coming in at night, so that makes it difficult. That's the reason why I stress, especially if there's kids. Yeah, kids, dogs, locking them up, like having that creates an issue. But again, like I would be there to guide you and like make it as easy as possible. But with this market, it makes it difficult, and that's what becomes stressful, that like everybody wants to get in, or like when you're buying, everybody is like putting an offer at the same time, or like you get to a house and there's other people showing it, so you kind of like wade into it and you're like, oh my God, am I going to be able to even get a home? Yeah.
I was just remembering that one house we went to go look at where that dog came running, or that white house that we thought that was it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I opened the door and there was a crate. I thought the dog was going to jump. Yeah. I was like, well, thank goodness it was me first. And I like to do that, like where I'm walking, especially if I know the person, like I'm okay going ahead. Sometimes if it's it was, I'm sure you would have liked to have a video of that.
It's still crazy how we thought that was it. Like, I don't know, me and Britzy were like, that's the home.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Did you regret that, like not buying that other one, like and seeing what it was?
I'm just glad we're here.
Okay.
Because
good.
I don't know. I did let my emotions get in the way of that one. Yeah. I don't know. Just the backyard was perfect.
Yeah.
But
do you remember me pointing all this stuff, and then Britzy's dad coming in like, no. And we started seeing, I'm like, well, thank goodness we have somebody else. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In when I will say, like when you have multiple people that are like helping you buy, it's always good to have that person that's gonna like help you, bring you down to like realize what it. Yeah, the second opinion, because you might think your agent is just trying to push you to buy the home. Mm-hmm. You are buying with your heart. Like have like somebody else that helps you.
You're in the actual game. So like in soccer, it's always different. I remember my dad, when I would play soccer, he would be, in the stands, and he could see what I can't see, but I'm in the game, and I'm like, no, but I was trying to do it this way, but I couldn't kick the ball. But my dad's like, no, and like explaining it from the outside.
Right.
And so, it's very important to have that second eye, sometimes third, people with experience. And
exactly.
Yeah, I feel like, buying a home, I mean, I don't know much about this. This is my first time experience, and you've been here doing this for a while now. Do you think there will ever be like an easier process? I just feel like it's like you helped it make it smooth for us. You definitely did. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. You really did. But there's still, it's just stressful.
Well, there's people involved. There's emotion involved in this. It's one of the biggest purchases you're going to do. So I feel like there's always going to be that stress involved, regardless of who, what. I know there's some industries that are trying to like take away like the agent, and I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. They want to do it, everything like transactional, everything like there's not, and I don't think it's going to work because you need that personal touch, Yeah. And so I don't know if it like easier, maybe like when it comes to signing, which is e-signatures, you don't have to show up to the table. Maybe that, I don't know. But everything else, like you have to you have to do the inspections. You have to do the appraiser. Like unless you're buying cash, the bank needs to know that the house appraises. So I don't think there's a whole lot that can change on that like side of it, that then it is where it is. Like maybe for viewings, maybe there's virtual, like I don't know, that you'll be able to do it a different way. But for me, personally, I feel like you need to do all this in person.
Yeah. Something different about a personal level. And I think there's viewers that will be watching this that definitely have gained a lot of knowledge from you, just talking about real estate. And what are some people don't know this, but like what are some don'ts before closing?
Okay. So once you're in the process of buying, I joke, and it's kind of a joke, but not really. Is like, don't like buy gum on credit, not even a piece of gum. In what it is like anytime you're going to do something while you're in the buying process, it's best to ask your lender, like what you can and cannot do. Because they're going to be guiding you and say, hey, like, I need you to pay down this credit card. Don't close it, but like, I need you to pay it down to at least this amount. and don't deposit anything over $1,000 in your bank account.
Stay away from the credit cards.
Right. Just kind of like do it until like you're done buying.
Don't buy a car.
No, definitely don't. Do not buy a car. Like I saw a meme that said like, joke with your agent, go to a car dealership and ask like, hey, like the day before closing, he was like, this is a way to cost your agent.
Has someone ever done that to you?
I just had some clients that apply for a credit card the day before, and it was a glitch and something happened and they had to. Yeah, but yeah, not yet. It is wood, right? Knock on wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there is a lot. And again, they can reach out to me, even if they're not buying with me, like, I would love to help them, but reach out, see what it is. Like there's a certain amount of documents, like let's say at least 2 years of work history, W-2 or 1099, have your paycheck stubs a month worth. So if you get paid bi-weekly, 2, if you get paid weekly, 4, like whatever it is, like 2 months of like your bank statements to kind of like show that your ID, your social security, your tax ID, whatever it is. And that's kind of like to get you started. And then they can check your credit and tell you like, this is what you have in your credit that you need to fix before we can get you there. Or they say, yes, you qualify for this amount. Are you comfortable with this amount?
Yeah.
Like in the loan
what is the qualification?
So it just depends on the bank, like the type of loan that you're doing and whatnot. I'm not sure if they change it right now, but it was at 640 because of COVID and all that. But now it's like, I think they dropped it down back to some lenders to 620 for conventional and for USDA. And then where FHA was lower, but again, I'm not. It will have to do with the lender.
It's always updating.
Yeah. Especially right now with like how it is. The lenders were a little bit more like restrictive of who they were giving that because they were afraid, and a lot of people, they were in the middle of buying. They weren't able to buy because they lost their job or they weren't working as many hours.
Yeah,
as they were.
It was more, let me make sure you're really making this money.
Yeah.
And you work here, how long you been working? So I know what you're saying. And so it's obvious that you enjoy what you're doing, you love what you do, and I'm not even going to ask you if you're happy with what you're doing because I see that.
Yeah.
Do you ever reach a point where you get tired?
To me, I get stressed when like a client is not able to do it or buy it. I feel bad. Like I do put my emotions in and like, and I try to like help and I do get stressed and I have lost, like, when I feel like a client is not there or something's going on. And it just like I get worked up and it's because I care, like it makes it difficult, but it's never been the time I was like, oh, I wish I wasn't in real estate, like, or I hate this. No, it's just that part when something's not going right for a client or it was a really bad inspection and they already spent all this money to get it inspected. It's things like that get me worked up, but I get to it, like I work through it and find different ways to make it work, so yeah, I've done it where like I have my preferred vendors or list of people that can go and help them and get paid at closing to make it work. There's different options that I've used now as resources to get that done.
Yeah. What is your long-term goal in real estate?
In real estate, I want to have a team of at least 6 people. My husband, hopefully he can join me. I'm not 100% sure because he is investing and flipping and doing that side of it. I do want to have a team of agents. I want to have showing agents, listing agents and all that, and me oversee that, like be able to provide more opportunities to other agents and show them like how is it done and how you should be doing it, like personalized for other people. I do hope like one day like have like where I can close like 250 homes in a year. This year I'm on track to closing 30. So I'm not there, but like I feel like if I had the help, like I would be able to, and that's my own fault, like if I really wanted, I should have already set it up and
you're just one person.
Yeah, but it's like you have to take the steps to do it, and I haven't done that or been serious, so like it is on me, like to make those changes. But yeah, like that is my ultimate goal, like have like a big team that I can help more families.
What do you think stops you from getting there?
So I've been reading it's MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, and it gives you the steps. So it's just me not taking those steps or taking the time to do it because You start with an assistant, then another assistant to get you there and help you relieve some of the work and then start like advertising, marketing, getting there and doing all that. So hopefully I'll have all of that set up by like next year and start like the one step. I can't hire somebody right away if I can't provide them or give them the money that they deserve, you know, like if they're doing that. But I just need to do it, you know, like leap and do it. I don't see myself being just staggered, you know, like just in one place. Yeah, stagnant. So I want to be able to move forward and do more that I know I can help other people. Yeah.
That's incredible. I had one more question for you. And it's more of a personal question. And I do this at the end. Okay. So my question to you is, if you could sit in front of the younger version of yourself, what would you tell her? Like,
for me, definitely get into real estate sooner. Do that. And I know I joke with my brothers because if you know me and like all my friends, like they see that like I've always been very goal oriented, like focused, you know, like if I decide to do something, I'm going to do it and whatnot. And so I say like I would be more focused and they're like, more? Like, you're kidding me. But yeah, like I feel like just have a goal, like have something written down. Like I would say, like have it written down, strive for that and work hard on it. You know, like don't let anything else like distract you. With real estate, start investing a little bit or do something like buy a home sooner, or like I said, like house hacking or whatnot, but work towards that so you can have some base of like where like you can help more people and guide more people and do it that way. When I was younger, like my idea was like the best thing I could do is like going to become a lawyer. That was my thing.
Is that what you wanted to be when you were?
Yeah, that was what I wanted. I
can see that.
Yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer. And then like I got pregnant with my my oldest, and I was still in the middle of school, finishing in North Georgia University. I was like, wait a second, like, do I want to focus on family or do all that? Because I was going, like, I didn't have that where a lot of people have like their parents pay for their school or everything. I was working full time and paying for my school and doing, like, I didn't take out loans or anything. Wow. So it was just little by little that I was able to do that, you know? So, I was like, I got to focus now on family, you know, and that's what it is. And I don't regret that. And I'm glad how things work, you know? But yeah, that was what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, I had a great time having you here. And I don't know if there's anything you wanted to say before we end this podcast. Give me your information, or I could put your information at the link or whatever you want.
Yeah, like they can reach out to me. My number is 678-617-6527. And my email is cbourdua, same as my last name.
I'll put it somewhere.
Yeah,
right
Bourdua,
here.
KW. Yeah. And in like my question to you, and I'm very appreciative again from all the clients and especially you guys helping you get that step, is like, why me? Like having, like, I know you know a lot of realtors, like I know you know like a lot of people, is like, what was it about me? And I mean, I can improve that or do that, like make you guys decide you want to choose me as your realtor.
I think for us on a personal level, I can speak for Britzy. The first time we met you came to our apartment, and I think Abel was there. But so before that, I know you were, like, I would see like the comments and you would comment like on Abel's stuff. Yeah. And I don't even know how we
I don't know.
Started
and that's
on Facebook.
I
really don't know.
It was very organic because I'm like, is there a pinpoint that I can say like this is the first touch? Yeah. I don't remember.
But I don't know what it was, but I just felt like though we had this crazy schedule. Yeah. And we didn't know how it was going to look, but yeah, it was that like you dived all the way in. Like I didn't get any
pressure.
Yeah. There was no.
It goes back to being genuine.
And very professional about, I mean, since the moment we met you. Yeah. And there was times where we would go see a house and I would tell Britzy, I don't want to waste her time, but you were always willing, whatever time it was. And So that's something that we always appreciated. And yeah, we could have chosen anybody else, but it was just more personal. And I'm thankful that you did have a chance to meet Abel.
Yeah.
That, and it was on a personal level. And so it was just, we knew you were perfect for us to be able to go into this transition to a new season in our life.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, we couldn't thank you enough because we put you through a little bit of
again, that's what you feel, but it's not. It really is not. And I know it's different because for you it's just the one thing that you see, but I can think of a lot more. And
and I just feel like we're family. I don't know.
Yeah.
We've never done like hung out, but like we need to. But
there's a pending.
But I don't know. We just felt like we've known you.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're just family.
Well, good.
So it was definitely on a personal level.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm glad you asked me that. That really made me think.
Yay!
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. And like I mentioned in the beginning, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It really does help the channel. And if you don't feel like subscribing, that's fine too. So yeah, we'll see you next time. And thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you. Bye.